Hello everyone, welcome to Vijay Mohan IAS Academy, and this is Vijay Mohan. I hope that everyone is preparing well, and as you know that exams are nearing, so you have to be continuous in your preparation. You have to be thorough in your preparation. Keep on reading, keep on practicing, right? So as you know that we are in the module of we are in the module of Tspsc Group 1 Mains Paper 4 video course and test series exclusively intended for English medium students. And as of now, we are dealing with the Telangana economy, first chapter of the Telangana economy. In the previous class, we had a discussion about Telangana surpluses. We had a discussion about growth and structure and growth of Telangana economy, and what are the sectoral trends in GSDP, and what is the trends in per capita income, and how the Telangana economy has performed after the formation of the Telangana state, and what is the contribution of agriculture sector, what is the contribution of industrial sector, and how services sector became prominent as far as contribution to total GSDP is concerned, right? So these trends we have seen, and we also saw some of the previous year questions, and we also saw some of the practice questions. Hope that you had practiced the practice questions given in the previous video course, right? So as part of this first chapter, we have finished all the topics, and only one topic is remained, that is income inequalities and poverty. This is also very important aspect as far as your examination is concerned, and more so because of the charged political environment between center and state, Telangana state. So there is a chance that examiner might be having an idea or might be thinking to give question based on poverty and income inequalities in Telangana, right? So considering the facts of the political situation and the economic situation in the center and state, income inequalities and poverty are also important for your examination. So in this video particularly, we will be dealing with the income inequalities and poverty related issues, particularly related to Telangana state, right? So first we will deal with the poverty related issues, then we will see income inequalities or economic inequalities, right? So as usual, what are the probable areas of questions being asked in this from this topic? First we will see those trends in poverty. Trends in poverty. So if you see, I'll be showing you some of the previous questions asked in APPSC, right? If you see, there is a particular inclinity or particular interest as far as examiners are concerned, especially trends in poverty. So mainly they are stressing on the what are the trends of poverty that you can observe in the Andhra Pradesh state earlier exam. So now, what are the trends that we can observe in the Telangana? So there were many times questions being asked on the trends of the poverty. They are not concerned about particularly what is happening in 1993-94, what is the poverty in 2011-2012. They are asking about what is the trend of poverty that you can observe in the Telangana state since 3 decades or 4 decades, something like that. So there is a probability of question this time also being asked on the trends in poverty, one area. And another area is performance of Telangana state in multidimensional poverty index, right? Actually, your syllabus has mentioned only poverty. They have not mentioned multidimensional poverty. However, if you see this year's socio-economic outlook 2022 of Telangana state, in poverty alleviation, at one place, while mentioning the poverty alleviation programs, the socio-economic outlook has mentioned about the multidimensional poverty index, which is being released by the Niti Aayog, and it has said that as far as the recently released Niti Aayog's multidimensional poverty index, if you take the Indian stats, one in every 4 persons has been multidimensionally deprived or multidimensionally poor in India. If you compare it, or if you take the scenario of Telangana, the socio-economic outlook is saying that one person in every seven people have been multidimensionally poor. So the socio-economic outlook is saying, with the help of the Niti Aayog multidimensional poverty index, even the multidimensional poverty is also better. Multidimensional poverty situation of Telangana is better when compared to the all India level. So I thought that yes, they have given poverty, but there is no limit that, or there is no, what you can say, there is no obstacle for the examiner to ask about the multidimensional poverty index. So what I thought is that this time there is a possibility that they might be asking about the multidimensionally poverty index. What is the multidimensionally poverty index? And explain the performance of the Telangana state in the multidimensionally poverty index. Maybe there is a chance they might ask. So that is the reason, as especially Telangana state's socio-economic outlook is mentioning about the multidimensional poverty index and how government is tackling. Even the Telangana socio-economic outlook has mentioned how government wants to intend to tackle the multidimensional poverty index. What are the programs that has been especially targeted towards health, especially targeted towards standard of living, and what are the programs that are targeted towards the achievement of education? We will see in the coming slides. So that is the reason why I think that there is a possibility or probability that performance of Telangana state in multidimensional poverty index is important for this year's examination or coming examination. All right. And one more important area is trends in income or economic inequalities. This is also, there is a probability that question might be asked from this area also. Right. Now, first we will see poverty related issues in Telangana. So first we will see poverty in Telangana. So what are the trends of poverty in Telangana? What is the different ratios, or you can say percentage of poverty that you can observe in 1993, 94, in 2004, 2005, and 2011 and 12. Specifically, we will see 1993, 94, and 2011 and 12. Right here, we are not concerned about the definition of poverty line. What is the methodology used for the poverty line? What are the different kinds of expert committees that were constituted to calculate the poverty line or to estimate the poverty, or to estimate the methodology that should be used for the poverty line? We are not concerned about that. We will be concerned about, particularly, we will restrict our area of study to what are the poverty trends and what are the poverty trends of Telangana state in comparison with India, right? So just see, poverty lines are used to estimate absolute poverty. So poverty line is basically used to estimate the absolute poverty. If you want to calculate the relative poverty, there are other dimensions or other methods. For example, Lorenz curve. Lorenz curve is used to calculate the relative poverty, not absolute poverty. So poverty line is basically used to estimate absolute poverty. Now, in the Telangana state, poverty line for rural and urban areas was determined as rupees 244 for rural areas, rupees 282 for urban areas, respectively in 1993-94. So this is the monthly per capita expenditure. This is the monthly, sorry. So this is the monthly per capita expenditure for an individual. In the rural areas, it is equals to rupees 244. In the urban areas, it is equals to rupees 282 in 1993-94. And whereas in 2004-2005, it is rupees 433 in rural areas and rupees 563 in urban areas. Whereas in 2011 and 12, it is calculated as rupees 860 for rural areas and rupees 1009 rupees for the urban areas, right? So this is the basic poverty line facts that you need to remember while writing your mains answers, right? Now, if you observe, based on this calculation, the poverty ratios has been estimated in 1993-94 and 2011 and 12. So if you see this, observe this table carefully, the poverty ratio for Telangana for 1993-94 is, for rural areas it is 49%, for urban areas it is 30.5%. And for all India level, it is for rural areas it is 50.1% in 1993-94, and for urban areas it is 31.8%. So here, if you observe, the 50 point or 50 point, more than 50% of people in rural areas were suffering or were considered as poor people during the 1993-94. And if you go for the urban areas, it is around 31.8% of people are suffering, are considered as poor, and in the 1993-94, right? So on the whole, if you compare the Telangana's poverty ratio with that of India's poverty ratio during the 1993-94, the difference between the poverty percentage or poverty ratio is less when compared to, if you compare with Telangana's poverty ratio with the India's poverty ratio. However, in 2000, by the time of 2011 and 12, the poverty ratios of Telangana state, even the poverty ratios of India, has been decreased. Rural areas, the poverty percentage is 11.2%. In the urban areas, the poverty percentage is 5% only. This is a considerable decrease as far as Telangana state is concerned. So by the time from 1993-1994 to 2011 and 12, the poverty ratios or percentage of people who are suffering with poor conditions has considerably decreased in Telangana state. However, there is also decrease at the all India level also. But if you see comparatively, the decrease is more in Telangana state. And one more thing that you need to observe is the difference between the poverty rates or poverty ratios of all India level in Telangana has widened. If you see here, nearly 14 points, difference is 14 points in rural areas, and in urban areas it is nearly 8 points. So whereas in 1993-1994, the difference is comparatively less between all India level poverty ratio and Telangana poverty ratio. So this is also one significant improvement. This is how you need to write answer. If the question has been given that critically evaluate or analyze the trend of poverty of Telangana when compared to the all India level, means you have to first mention the data with respect to 93-94 and data with respect to 2011 and 12. You have to mention these observations that the poverty ratio of the Telangana has considerably decreased during the period 1993-94 to 2011-12. And the relative comparison between all India level and Telangana level, if you see, the difference has been widened between the poverty ratios of Telangana and poverty ratios of India. Right? Now, if you see poverty levels, the rural as well as urban poverty in Telangana is slightly lower than that of all India average between 1993-94 and 2011 and 12. Actually, this is 1993-94. The urban and rural poverty of Telangana is slightly less than that of the all India average. And poverty, both rural and urban in Telangana state, is relatively low compared to the southern states of Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. So, if you compare with the southern states also, Telangana state's poverty levels are considerably low or relatively low when compared to the southern states of Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Right? This is one of the important observations. Now, if you see between 1993, 94, 2011, and 12, rural and urban poverty has decreased considerably in Telangana state. This decrease is evident not only in the percentage terms but also in the absolute figure. So this decrease is not only evident in the percentage terms, even in the absolute terms also there is a considerable decrease, as urban poor in Telangana decreased from 12 million to 3 million between 1993-94 to 2011 and 12. So even in the percentage terms also and even in the absolute number also, there is a considerable improvement as far as poverty in the Telangana state is concerned. Right? Now, Another important observation as far as poverty is concerned is what is the poverty among social groups. So if you see, the poverty among socially disadvantaged groups was very high in the early 90s, but the level had fallen significantly by 2011 and 12. So if you observe the poverty levels during the 1990s of socially disadvantaged people like SCs and STs, you can see that the poverty levels are very high during the 1990s. However, this has decreased during the 2011-12 period, right? And in the year 2011-12, poverty among SCs was higher than among STs in rural Telangana. So in the year 2011 and 12, the poverty among the SCs was higher when compared to the STs in rural Telangana. But if you compare in the case of urban areas, poverty among STs was higher compared to the poverty among SCs. So this is also one of the small observation that you need to remember, and you can incorporate while writing your mains answer regarding poverty levels, right? Now, so I just wanted to give you brief about Rangarajan Committee also, what Rangarajan Committee has told about the Telangana's poverty, right? So this Rangarajan Committee report poverty estimates have not been incorporated in material, you can say Telugu Academy material also, it has not been incorporated. So this Rangarajan Committee report on poverty estimates also corroborated what we have discussed earlier. So based on earlier observations or based on calculation of earlier committees, the Telangana poverty ratio from 1993-1994 to 2011 and 2012, it has considerably decreased, and the difference between the Telangana's poverty percentages and India's poverty percentages has widened. However, the Rangarajan Committee has been appointed in around 2014, right? And Rangarajan Committee has taken into consideration other dimensions than only depending on calorie intake. It has taken health dimension, it has taken what you can say education dimension, and then it has calculated the poverty estimates. So what Rangarajan Committee has said about the Telangana state. The Rangarajan Committee estimates on poverty for Telangana in comparison to all India are being presented, right? So if you see the Rangarajan Committee estimates for Telangana, the rural poverty percentage of poor in rural areas is 9.3% and in urban areas is 11.1%, and total percentage of poor people is 10%. And if you compare the same with all India level, the all India percentage of poor is, for rural areas it is 30.9%, and for urban areas it is 26.4%, and total it is 29.5%. So if you observe, the data which we already discussed is being justified or corroborated by the Rangarajan Committee report also. So Rangarajan Committee is also saying that the differentiation between the poverty ratio of the Telangana and poverty ratio of the all India level is widened, and rural poverty and urban poverty of Telangana state is way less compared to the all India levels. So in this respect, Telangana state has performed very well, right? So however, I suggest the aspirants to use the data which is given by the Telangana Telugu Academy book only. This Rangarajan Committee report on poverty estimates of Telangana I have given for your understanding, right? And to compare the data which is already estimated by the previous expert committees. So this is the issue with the Rangarajan Committee report on poverty estimates of Telangana. Okay. Now we have seen that Telangana has performed well as far as poverty reduction is concerned. So what are the reasons? What are the causal factors for decline in the poverty? So what are the reasons that you can tell, or you can see, or you can, what you say, you can attribute for the reduction of poverty in the Telangana? See, there are 3 or 4 factors. Now, yes. Now we will see about the multidimensional poverty index. So how Telangana has performed in the multidimensional poverty index. And then we will see the poverty alleviation related programs, right? So your syllabus only mentioned about the poverty and income inequalities. However, as I already discussed, that your socio-economic outlook has mentioned about the multidimensional poverty index. So it will be useful for you to briefly see what is the multidimensional poverty index and how Telangana state has performed in the multidimensional poverty index, right? So Andhra Pradesh పేదరిక స్థాయిలో వచ్చిన ప్రముఖ మార్పులను పేర్కొనండి, right? So these are the two previous questions. Now we will see two practice questions based on our discussion. Try to solve these questions. So first one is on the multidimensional poverty index. Critically examine the performance of Telangana state in national multidimensional poverty index published by Niti Aayog. Also write a brief on state government's interventions to eradicate multidimensional poverty. So in the first component you have to write about the performance of the Telangana state in the MPI. In the second component you have to give the interventions or poverty alleviation programs which are being intended or which are being intervened by the Telangana state for eradicating multidimensional poverty, right? Next, in Telugu, Niti Aayog ప్రచురించిన జాతీయ బహుమితీయ పేదరిక సూచిక మల్టీ పావర్టీ ఇండెక్స్ లో తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రం పనితీరును విమర్శనాత్మకంగా పరిశీలించండి. బహుమితీయ పేదరికాన్ని నిర్మూలించడానికి రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వం అనుసరిస్తున్న వ్యూహాల గురించి క్లుప్తంగా రాయండి. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ ఈస్ అనలైజ్ ద ట్రెండ్స్ ఇన్ ఎకనామిక్ ఇన్ఈక్వాలిటీస్ ఇన్ తెలంగాణ స్టేట్. సో this is a direct question. You need to analyze the trends in the economic inequalities in Telangana state based on consumption patterns or consumption data and suggest the measures to reduce it in the state. So what are the measures to reduce it in the state, right? So Telangana రాష్ట్రంలో ఆర్థిక అసమానతల పోకడలను విశ్లేషించండి, రాష్ట్రంలో దీనిని తగ్గించే చర్యలను సూచించండి. So these are the two questions that you can try to practice, right? So this is the end of the first chapter of Telangana economy. Next, I'll be uploading question paper, test paper on this chapter, and you have to write answers within 4 or 5 days so that I'll be able to evaluate them. Next, we will start another chapter. Until then, thank you.